Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Venom Cast. Woo! Episode 4 of the second iteration of the show. I'm Tommy Cook. I'd like to welcome in my co-host at this time, graduate of UT Arca-Break. There he is. Matt Williamson.
Sliding.
He's back. Sliding not on the road, but at home. That's very exciting. And somebody that did not slide in, Zack Lockett, is our guest here today. He's going to hang out with us for the whole show. How are you, Zack?
Doing great. How are you guys?
I am great. Thanks.
Fighting a little bit of a man cold, but, pushing through it.
I feel that hard. We will talk all things Venom, all things Zack Lockett. He had a big week. We'll recap Atlanta. Actually, why don't we recap Atlanta right now? Without getting into spoilers, Matt Williamson had probably the most interesting Atlanta, I would say. Probably one of the more interesting circumstances ever in a Venom League race, if I had to say. Matt Williamson, where were you on Tuesday night?
Yeah, so I had to do a little bit of traveling for work, and originally I was slated to be in the in-season tournament, and then I took myself out because I was certain I was not going to make the race. But as I was in the state of Utah in Salt Lake City, I decided to Google if there was any sort of a sim racing where you could rent and go and race. And sure enough, there was one right around downtown Salt Lake City, and I made my way down there and somehow made it into the race. So I was in a motion rig for the first time for an extended period. I've tested a couple previously at conventions and whatnot, but it was interesting being in one for a super speedway race. That was for sure. Probably not the place I would want to be in one, but that's how the cards fell. So,
I mean, the motion rig, at least you didn't get the kind of motion that like Jordan Journeau got there on the final lap where you were like almost upside down or upside down. But I mean, how was the learning curve? Because you led quite a few laps in that race as well. It's a track that you and I are quite familiar. Yeah, and you got the pole as well. So I mean, you adapted pretty quickly, I would say.
Yeah, I certainly don't. I don't think I would attribute the pole to my skill. I think that's probably just the setup that they have going at the sim racing. I have to look up what the name of it was to give them a shot. I think it was Flat Out Sim Racing in Salt Lake City. I think that was the name of it. So shout out to Flat Out Sim Racing and SLC. I know Paul Ellison is going to be in Salt Lake City at some point this year, so he was considering maybe renting it for a night as well. So they might be getting quite a bit of business from the Venom boys. But it was interesting. I was actually late to my appointment. I booked it at 6 o'clock.
Appointment.
I booked it at 6 o'clock Mountain Time because I was like, all right, I need to give myself plenty of time to like make sure I get logged in and all that stuff. Well, decided to go to In-N-Out Burger because I never had it before the race and was a little late getting my burger. So I was really scarfing it down before I got into the rig. And I made it into the session with like, I think 3.5 minutes to spare. So didn't have really any warm-up time before qualifying. I was really going in cold and much to my surprise, somehow got the pole. I mean, I would just attribute that to the nice setup that they have over there at Flat Out Sim Racing.
What were you racing on? Like, do you know the wheel, the pedals? I mean, your monitors look huge. Like they look like they were 40-some inch, 50-some inch.
Yeah, I mean they were curved monitors, so I don't know what exactly they were, but yeah, they were 3 monitors curved. To be honest, I didn't even really look at the wheel and the pedals before I hopped in there or afterwards because, I was just kind of tired after our race. But, it was I don't know exactly what the motion rig was, but it was like one of those where it's on all 4 corners of the rig, like one of those sort of things. So there was no like sliding or anything like that. But I mean, still, it was pretty like when you hit the wall or like even if somebody gives you a big push from behind, it was pretty jarring. Or even like when you come to a complete stop on your pit stops, like once you actually completely stop, it like kind of jolts you forward a little bit. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely a different experience. It was a really fun experience too. It was a little pricey, a little more than I would have liked to have paid to do a league race there. But honestly, if to only do it once a year or whatever, if I have to, it's to me, it was totally worth it. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, but it didn't come without its issues, as you can tell by the nameplate under there. Unfortunately, Joshua Rutherford was the victim of a pretty terrible ARCA break situation, just because with the big monitors, I couldn't really tell how fast I was going. Like, I don't know, it was just weird. I just wasn't used to it. And yeah, I came in pretty hot behind him at one point. So yeah, shout out to Joshua Rutherford for taking one for the team there, I suppose.
I will say, and the league council, because you didn't get to stick around for after the race, this was a point of contention for next time we go to Atlanta 22, which I guess we could just call Echo Park at this point since it's really its own track. But we will definitely have a defined pit procedure because the checkups were awful for everybody. So I had several near misses and a couple of 0Xs under caution. And there was already a procedure in place for next time we go to Echo Park. So I wouldn't pin that 100% on you for sure, because it was very weird. So Matt Williamson went animal style before the race, got the pole, led the second most laps. The driver that led the most laps ended up winning the race, and that was Zack Lockett. I mean, we'll talk here in a second about, I guess, playing catch up after your first Venom cast a couple of seasons ago. And but I mean, this is your first points paying victory in Venom. Talk me through the end of that race and leading all those laps. I mean, you had some team help, but it helps to know what you're doing around this very unique style of pack racing.
Yeah, I think we all, most of the 939 team qualified mid to backpack, except for Matt. Matt Schlosser was up there most of the night. But really, once those green flag pit stops happened right after the stage and a bunch of you guys went into pit, next thing I know, I'm the leader, Chad's behind me, Josh is behind him, and then Matt Schlosser's there. And I'm like, all right, we can take this over from here. And really, that's kind of what we did the rest of the race. I think there was a caution on lap 80, which was 5 or 6 laps before we were going to run out of fuel. So we were not looking forward to green flag pit stops. We were hoping a caution would come out, and came out at a perfect time for us to just kind of continue to work together on the restarts. Me and Chad were timing the restarts there on the bottom pretty well. I was counting him down, and he was just shoving me like crazy. Chad was my savior. I mean, he was glued to me. So he, right on the beginning of the restarts of every time we had a restart, he would just push me right out to the top, and we would just kind of guard the middle and the top, and he was staying connected to me. So through it all, I was lucky to have him, and Josh was controlling the bottom for a little bit over the last few 25, 30 laps, and we were lucky enough that Chad was doing a great job guarding the middle. Whenever I think Brantley Gainey was trying to stick his nose in there, a lot of people were. Zittel was, John Kay was, which rightfully so. That's kind of how you got to make passes. But Chad was doing just a fantastic. I watched it back a little bit more this morning, and Chad, just shout out to Chad. Chad will never see this because Chad's Chad, but shout out to Chad again for all those blocks and those pushes, man. He was the best.
Yeah, will Chad Stearns ever find out that he's Cole Maxwell's favorite driver? Probably not. We'll see if we can get his fax number to get that to him. But I
messaged him on Discord after the race. He still hasn't answered, so I don't know.
And I want to say about Matt Schlosser as well that he got taken out of the race by me. For the record, the league council talked about it and everything, and they said it was a racing deal. I still think it was my fault. Matt doesn't think it's my fault, but I think it's my fault. So I never got a 3-wide call. I crowded the shit out of him, to be quite honest, and I got an arrow push, and he got an arrow push, and to me, that was my fault. But I didn't get called for it, so whatever. I'm not going to complain because I got a P4. Shout out to 420, my best finish in Venom, first top 10. Very excited.
What did you guys think overall about the truck and the handling? I was expecting a little bit more, freeness on the rear, but I think maybe because it was so cool out, I mean, I felt pretty glued down all night.
Yeah, Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, to be honest, it was really difficult being in a new rig and with motion for me to like, it was hard for me to even really tell like what was tight and what was loose, because there were a couple points, especially like halfway kind of through our runs, that I felt like I was getting really loose off the corner, but I was stuck on the bottom pretty much all night. Like I didn't really get the opportunity to run the top. So I feel like I was probably using more tire than maybe some of the others were, since I was kind of up front on that bottom, like just really scrubbing tire on the bottom. At least that's what it felt like to me. But yeah, I mean, there were a couple times that I got pretty loose. I actually had to get out of the throttle and kind of stack that bottom lane up. But I think what was interesting for me was to keep myself from using some tire. I was trying to really use the middle lane on entry, especially into turn one, to try and carry as much speed through that corner as possible. And it was really interesting. Like, it was a good thing that I had some people up there that I have kind of worked with before. Like Mike Milfelt was up there. Josh Wanacek was up there, of course, a teammate as well. Not that I could talk to him, but I knew that he was going to stay with me. And some of them would like kind of stick. Yeah, some of them would kind of like stick their nose underneath. And I wasn't necessarily worried about them kind of trying to take that shot just because I knew that they were pretty much going to stick with me. But if it had been somebody else, I wouldn't necessarily be able to take that middle entry because somebody easily could have tried to stuff it underneath of me. So I think it really depended on who was around you, like how you could kind of get your entry into the corner, because being able to enter in the middle certainly helped me throughout the night.
That was probably my favorite part of the race, diverging for a second, where the restart right before the stage, Josh is like, "Oh man, I wish we could talk to Matt right now," and I was like, "I could call him." So I'm like sitting here trying to get ready for a restart, and then all of a sudden I have to pick up the phone and like call Matt, and then be like, it's like a switchboard operator in the 1930s. It's like the go between trying to talk to two different people and figure out what's going on. But they got it to work, and then got hosed by that caution, unfortunately, that happened after the stage. But yeah, in terms of the handling of the truck, man, I love racing the new Atlanta. So dynamic. Both lanes were threats at some point. 3 wide was not impossible, but certainly difficult. Tire wear is a thing. It was a blast. So my recommendation is to take tires at some point during the race.
You didn't take them at all.
I took them on lap 20.
Okay.
And then when I came to top off, whatever that caution was, lap 80 or whatever,
80, yeah.
I forgot to take tires. And I looked at the tire wear, and it was at 71% on the right front.
Oh.
So, I mean, it didn't end up mattering all that much. It might have saved a little trouble for Schlosser and everybody else that crashed behind me, and that 3 wide move. But yeah.
Yeah, I was lifting a little bit. I think the whole race really into the turns just a little bit, just to kind of settle it and, you know, not scrub as much right front because, you know, as you get towards the end of the race, when you can't hold the bottom, you're going to end up happening, you know, like Matt was saying, someone getting underneath you there, and they're not going to lift at that point. So I was really just trying to make sure, saving that a little bit, but also not losing the rear on the pushes.
Matt, do you have the results handy?
I do. I did want to ask you guys, after our experience at Daytona where the bottom really didn't work very well, were we, I mean, I know it's slower speeds just because of the size of the racetrack, but were we at all surprised that the bottom was able to work as well as it was, or were you kind of expecting that?
I think I expected it a little bit just because it's a little bit easier to stay organized on the bottom here, especially when you come across the tri-oval. You know, the top people kind of tend to take a little bit of a different lane. So I was expecting it to be a little bit better, but not as good as it was, to be honest. After Daytona was frustrating because it was just 2x2 the entire race. Like no one could kind of push anyone out ahead. So a little bit better here. But I definitely was a little bit surprised.
Yeah, I also was, I guess, expecting it to be better. I think the speed differential probably helps that a lot. And even there was at one point when you guys had pit already and you were single file, and Josh said, "Man, why does Matt keep going high? I don't understand." And I was like, "Oh, I know why Matt keeps going high. The momentum around the middle, definitely when you're single file, that's his philosophy anyway." So I was like, just go with him. You need to go up towards the middle a little bit, like run a half lane off the bottom. So like you would think that the momentum around the middle and the top side would make it more similar to Daytona, but for whatever reason, it didn't. So I'm happy that it was a little bit more dynamic, and hopefully that's not the way forward for super speedways, because if we get to Talladega and it's top dominant, that shit's gonna suck. So I really hope that's not the way forward. But
yeah, well, it'll definitely be, if it's still the case, it'll definitely be like second and third lane, or even third and fourth lane, rather than the bottom and then the middle. As far if if we're too wide, so that would be a very interesting dynamic for sure.
Let's get to the full finishing rundown. Of course, you see the top 10 on the screen here already, and our main man, Zack Lockett, atop. But good shouts here for the podium finishers as well. Matt Rodney. Oh, Matt Rodney and Steve Rodney.
Yeah, good to see. I mean, Steve is always. He's almost. I hate to say he's like a sleeper on the super speedways, because I personally felt like we didn't talk about him enough when we were broadcasting on the super speedways. But he is always right there at these super speedway races. So yeah, shout out.
Echo Park, Atlanta 22 is basically Steve Roman's speedway. I think he's.
I don't
know. Yeah, I don't know what his third finish is, but he's got 2 first place and now a third. So whatever the fourth finish is, it doesn't really matter, because that dude is always up front here.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, another good one for the 00. It's our boy Tommy Cook bringing home a top 5 there in 4th, and a teammate Josh Monacek in 5th. Another good points day for Team 199. I don't know how that keeps happening, but we're going to ride it as long as we can. So. Garrett Rainey finished in 6th. He's kind of getting it going now after making the chase last year. He's looking to hopefully make it again. Lucas Carver in 7th. Andy Ducato, another top 10. He has had a really good start to his season after the win at Rockingham as well. John Kay getting a top 10, and then Josh Freed, teammate, is right there in 10th. And now we're going to go outside of the bracket, and outside of the top 10, outside of the whatever we got on the screen there. Outside of graphic, not bracket. Sorry. Outside of the top 10, we had Greg Elliott, Jordan Journeau, RJ Starcevic, Corey Clark, and Hayden Palumbo. That's your top 15. And 16th, Chris Mackey, myself in 17th, after some trouble in that bad caution that came out for us. But yes. So in 18th, Tyler Berger, Brantley Gainey, 19th, and Brad Slagle is your top 20. Outside the top 20, Kyle Zittel, Clef Douthit, Chad Stearns, Paul Sargent, Eric Breeding, Austin Holyfield, Parker Donaldson, Mike Milfelt Jr., and Andy Puliski, and then Brody Gunter. That's your top 30. Jack Watts, Gary Clark, Kevin Sargent, Cade Cannon, Pascal Samard, Matt Schlosser, Joshua Rutherford, Josh Jackson, Charlie Widener. It says Charles here. Charlie Widener and Cole Maxwell is your top 40. And I believe Corey Rutherford was the last driver to start and 41st. I see Paul Ellison and Jan Van Leer on here. Did they're register?
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good. So yeah, 41 starters, another start to with 40 plus drivers here in the Venom Truck Series. That has been pretty insane to see that every week so far.
Yep, absolutely. I've got a couple of team recaps to go through. Jordan Journeau sent me NCR Racing's recap. NCR Racing, we had our first good week in a while this week. Jordan finished P12. Corey Clark, team rookie, finished a career best P14. Cade Cannon backed up a solid run at the Rock with a P16 finish, and Gary Clark rounded out the team with a P33 that didn't represent the solid race that he had run in his recovery to a lead lap finish. Overall, racing at Badlanta was much better than expected from both team drivers and the field as a whole, which was a great representation of how well this league can race with a full field of 41. Also, on a personal note, I want to give a huge shout out to John Kay and Andy Poliski for the advice that they gave me before the race. So that is Jordan Journeau and NCR Racing. I literally just got a message from Cole Maxwell about an ICR team recap. And this one's kind of long, so we'll get to it. Insert Coin Racing put together a respectable effort this week, bringing home finishes of 15th, 19th, and 40th. while team number 5 remains sidelined as Jan Van Leer continues his relocation from the People's Republic of California to the freedom-loving land of North Carolina, where paperwork is lighter and the barbecue is heavier, and nobody asks you how your carburetor identifies itself. All right. The 35 team led the way with a solid 15th place finish, keeping the truck clean, outlasting the weekly Venom Truck Series Survival Challenge. It was a steady, smart race that paid off with a strong result and valuable points. The 22 machine, sorry, Brantley, fought hard in the thick of the pack to bring home 19th, navigating the always dangerous midfield where bumpers are used like punctuation marks. Another gritty performance that shows the team continues to stay competitive. The 69 team unfortunately had a shorter night than planned, finishing 40th after getting caught up in circumstances that could best be described as avoidable by everybody else except the people involved. The team is already regrouping and looking forward to rebounding next week. Meanwhile, the 5 team will also miss this week's race as Jan finishes settling into North Carolina, reportedly still unpacking boxes labeled freedom, lower taxes, and realistic fuel prices. Sources close to the team confirmed the sim rig is still somewhere between a moving truck and a pile of extension cords. Insert Coinley Racing looks ahead to the next event, motivated to improve results and excited for the eventual return of number 5 once the relocation process and the culture shock of affordable living is complete. Goal for next race, more laps up front, fewer conversations with the wall. I
have some intel on the number 69 machine.
Do tell.
Literally taking a left turn out of nowhere. This was, I think, after that caution came out that kind of really put me and a bunch of others behind the 8 ball, having to take a wave around. Okay, there we go. This was also after I had rear-ended Joshua Rutherford and arc braked the absolute hell out of him coming to pit road there. And so I had damage and I was running around with some other damaged trucks, one of them being Cole Maxwell. And he was leading, I was behind him, and then we had like maybe 2 or 3 other cars behind us. And we were riding around. We were kind of making a little headway on a couple of other damaged trucks, but they were, a little bit faster than us. But with the amount of cars we had, we were kind of catching them. And out of nowhere, in turn number 3, he kind of drifts up the racetrack and then just turns right across my nose down to the infield. And I'm like, what in the world just happened? And I didn't see it until it was pretty far into the night after the race was over. I think that he had said something about like his monitor went out or something. I'm not quite sure, but he decided to just hang a left and hope that he didn't hit anybody. And somehow none of us made contact with him. I don't know how that happened. So that was, certainly an interesting exit for Cole Maxwell on Tuesday night.
Oh, man.
The monitor going out is the scariest, most helpless thing.
Awful.
Happened to
awful
everyone.
Feeling.
Yeah.
We are going to switch to points here in a second, but you mentioned it a second ago, Matt. I do want to talk about team points because it is Team 199 right now, I believe 6 markers ahead of 939 Motorsports. Of course, we talked about it in our preseason show, I guess. 939 is the team to beat. John Kay and Kyle Zittel both know it. But they're not number 1 right now. But how would you assess 939 Motorsports season thus far? Because, I mean, you guys are still the team to beat, in my opinion.
Yeah, Daytona was pretty good. Probably could have been better. I wish we could all get hooked up together on a super speedway besides, last race. I feel like we've had the chance to do that before in the past at Talladega and a couple other plate races, but have never really had the chance to get as good of a finish as we want there. But Auto Club, I mean, Matt won that, so good for him. Didn't have internet that night, so I was watching Chris Mackey's stream on my phone. Internet just randomly went out for the whole night, so that sucked. But and then Rockingham, I mean, I missed that one, but went back and watched it, and man, I know Josh Freed. I know he doesn't talk a lot, and you guys probably don't know him as well, but he wants to win so badly. Like, he is like so hard on himself too. I mean, he's a Philadelphia guy, so he's just, he's an Italian angry Philly guy, so he's just always sitting there, swearing at himself and cussing himself out. And I know he wanted that one so bad, and looking back on it, I really wish he could have got that at Rockingham. But I think overall we've had our ups as we had hoped and had expected that we would, but guys like Chad's had crappy luck all throughout the year, but he does need to quit killing himself with the penalties. And, I'm going to beat that into him this week. Like, hey, stay to the right in pit road. Like, don't change lanes. Like, trying our best with Chad. But Matt's also kind of come back down to earth a little bit with his luck, actually getting involved in some wrecks and stuff. But yeah, he's already got a win. I know he'll be back up there in the points. I think he's in 20th right now. So obviously that's not an accurate representation of what Matt's going to be this year once he gets in his rhythm again. But overall, I think it's been about what we expected. It's 40 trucks every week. Things are bound to happen. You're bound to get caught up in stuff. Even if you have speed like Schlosser does every week, you're eventually going to get caught up in some stuff. So we feel pretty good. We hopefully we'll stick around. And you guys are doing great.
Well, thank you. I already told Matt Schlosser this week I'm fully expecting, unless him and Brody take each other out in turn number 1, which I'm totally okay with, that we'll probably hand the points lead off this week. But maybe not. Maybe not. We'll have to see.
It happened at Monza, right? At Monza last season.
Yeah, it did.
Matt, so
I forgot about that. But speaking of the points, you're not on this graphic. I don't know what it says about me, but you are higher than me in points, despite the fact that you've only done half the races this season. So, but you're also ahead of the team boss as well. I think you're 18th in the standings. I'm 19th, and Schlosser and Gunter tied for 20th right now. So this is it's a testament to everybody that's actually on this graphic. There are some names that, first of all, that we didn't know existed, but also that are in Venom for the first time. Namely, Matt Williamson, Chris Mackey, Brad Slagle. Parker Donaldson was on this graphic last week, has just slipped off to, I believe, 17th in the standings. But man, it's been quite the interesting season thus far.
Yeah, no doubt. I know you guys don't know Chris Mackey as well. I race with him on Wednesdays. He owns Full Send Cup Series, the league. He owns that league. Started racing with us a little bit, and our other team, Adrenaline Racing, is our cup team, and so he wanted to race in a truck league this season. I'm like, our team is full, but happy to, have you come on and kind of be a satellite teammate. So he's very consistent. Chris is pretty quick everywhere. I think he'll probably stay around the playoffs all season. Intrigued to see how he does this weekend at a road course. We just ran a road course last week in his cup league on Wednesdays at Watkins Glen. He did pretty good. So, but yeah, I expect Chris to be hanging around all season, and Josh as well. He had a couple mishaps last year with his computer lagging out or screen going out or whatever. So as long as he can make every race too, hopefully he can stick around as well. But hey, RJ Starcevic, that's pretty cool to see RJ up there.
Absolutely. I mean, that's 3 of the Team 199 drivers in the top 4. RJ is just a blast to have. I feel like maybe because he's had speed before, maybe just being in the environment with the rest of the team and maybe helping a couple of his snap decisions to be better decisions has helped make him ultra consistent thus far this season and to actually harness that speed a little bit. But I mean, he's got all the tools, so that's super cool. I'm tickled pink, man. I know you are too.
Yeah, for sure. I certainly did not expect myself to still be up here. I mean, after Daytona is one thing, to be here after 4 races is another. So yeah, certainly excited. I am going to, I think I've said this every week, but I'm definitely dropping off the standings after Lime Rock. So I don't know if I'll drop off, but
you're not going to go from 2nd to 15th in 1 week.
I'll certainly be further down. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, I've certainly enjoyed it while I can, and hopefully it will help me try and make a run for the chase. I mean, with the field that we have, that is certainly very difficult, but yeah, very excited of how it's gone so far. I do want to mention something about RJ as well. Tommy kind of alluded to it. Like, his strategy game has not always been the strongest, but he's always had speed, and he doesn't race very often. Like, if he honestly continues to race pretty regularly, I've it's almost kind of scary to me, like how good he really could be. So, I mean, as long as he sticks with it, like he could really do something here in the Venom Truck Series, I think. So, yeah, really, really cool to see him up here in the top 4 as well in points. And yeah, I don't think his speed is going anywhere anytime soon. That's for sure.
No, I
what's scary to me is I see guys that are all deserving of playoff spots, and then I see John Kay still out, Hayden's out, Luke is out. I'm back there in 18th. Schlosser's out, Brody's out, a bunch of guys. I mean, Steve Roman, Chad,
yeah.
it's gonna be a dogfight for the playoffs this year.
Andy's in 30th in points. Andy Poliski.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So of course Paul Ellison's going to drop off this graphic. I'm moving my cursor like you can see it. We've already established you can. But Paul Ellison, part-time, Mark Martin in it this season, up there in the points. Will not be probably in the top 15 if I had to guess by the end of the season. Certainly won't be in the top 10. So that'll free up one spot, but one spot doesn't mean shit, honestly. It's yeah, like you said, it's going to be an absolute dogfight. So let's I think that's all that we've got for the recap section of this. I think maybe it's time we transition into the actual interview. You did one of the last episodes of the original Venom cast a couple of seasons ago. I think it was in season number 9, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not been too terribly long since we've had you on the show, but we're going to sort of move this up the chat a little bit. Especially, I think it's an interesting conversation now because we've talked a lot about the rookies, how there are like 4 or 5 rookie badgers in the top 15 right now in the standings. You came in a pretty stacked rookie class in season number 7. But and you say as much in your interview as well that the rookies that you came in with really weren't rookies. You actually came into Venom as really pretty much fresh off the boat to iRacing, only a couple of months in. This is your first real league experience. I mean, to talk about actually being a rookie and learning with the series.
Yeah, that was October of 2023. I'd gotten on iRacing in July and really was just dicking around and, officials trying to get to my A class, trying to do what I could. And it was like literally a random Tuesday night, and I had come across Venom season 7 was starting that night. And I messaged on Facebook. It's like, hey, can I join this race night at Daytona? And really had no idea what I was getting myself into. Like overall, like new to like green flag pit stops, new to almost every track I had to buy every week before we go and try to lay down some laps. And really was just trying to get comfortable with, learning like strategy and how to race and all of that. So like that season 7 was me going to every track for the first time, getting on pit road under green flag circumstances for the first time, learning how to save tire, learning how to do everything, and really grow in that season. So I think that season, I ran like 20th every race. But yeah, Matt Schlosser was a rookie that season. I forget who else was a rookie.
I think Tyler Logan.
Tyler Logan, yes, correct. Tyler Logan, yep. They were not rookies. So it was like, I think Matt won the second race at Watkins Glen. I was like, oh my God, I am really a rookie. So yeah, I grew a lot with the league that season, tried to hopefully stay out of everyone's way as much as I could and, learn as much as I can. Definitely got caught up in a couple of wrecks that season, but great to learn. This is still the only truck league I've ever run in. I mostly run the next gens, do a lot of AFIX, run in a couple next gen leagues, and the trucks, I've always had a soft spot for the trucks just because you start learning in them so early, and you get a chance to, especially when you find a league like this that's just been so welcoming and so consistent with car counts and the good people in it. It's just awesome to grow with. But yeah, I really didn't start seeing much success until I got myself the triple monitors and a nice wheel and pedals that were actually nothing wrong with the Logitech setup, but I just felt myself kind of take off once I got on some good equipment and being able to actually see on triples everything that's going around, be able to race people tighter, continue to put in a lot of seat time. So yeah, season 9 started finding some more success, and to finally get on the board here in season 11 has been great.
I was going to say, this is your first win that counts towards points and all that. But, I mean, you've won stuff in Venom before, namely an all-star race, but also a mid-season tournament the first time that we ran that. So, I mean, you've not been completely devoid of accolades, if you will.
Yeah, it's like I said, the mid-season tournament was great. I got my trophy up on my little stand above my rig up there. It's actually it's a pretty nice trophy. So really shout out to Ziddle and everyone in Venom for getting me that. But yeah, I wanted to repeat in that last year, and obviously this year I'm not in it, but the midseason tournament always brings out a little bit more competitiveness in everyone. But it's cool to see, some people who aren't always up front getting a chance to race for it and getting a chance to win it. And yeah, it's been cool to have that as part of this league for sure.
Matt, I know you're repping your old homestead, a lot of gear from Tennessee. I know you had one question in particular that you wanted to ask Josh in terms of geography.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, obviously, we've seen you run the Tennessee Titans paint scheme a lot, and it's a great paint. Being a transplant to Nashville for a while, of course, I followed the Titans pretty closely there for a little bit too. How did you become a Titans fan? Like, what's your background, and like, how did that kind of get started?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm sure that's very confusing. So I'm originally from upstate New York. Grew up in a Giants household. All my friends are Giants, Bills, Jets, some Eagles, Steelers, whatever. But the first video game I ever played was Madden 2003. I was about 7 years old, and I don't know if it was the Titans colors or what it was, but I always would play with them, and I loved Steve McNair and Eddie George. And ended up having my parents get me their jerseys, and really followed them ever since there. And I think over the years, just falling in love with, I just love sports. Like I played baseball, played basketball. I love the NFL, everything, fantasy football, gambling on the NFL. I love everything NFL. So I just think over the years, I've grown to become, one of the bigger Titans fans that anyone will probably ever meet. To be honest with you, you can see some stuff up on my wall over here. I got the can't really see it, but it's a painting of Earl Campbell, Eddie George, Chris Johnson, and Derrick Henry. They're legendary running backs, but yeah, that's how I kind of became a fan. Been to multiple games, visit Nashville quite frequently for games. And I always say, if I never met my wife, who we live down in the Charlotte area now, but if I had never met her, I was looking at moving to hopefully to the Nashville area when I was still a single guy wanting to go to Broadway every weekend and do that kind of whole thing. So, um, but yeah, so that's how I kind of became a fan, and it's just kind of part of my identity is being a Titans fan. I know it's been a bad few years, but still feel like I'm still mentally living in the 2019 playoff run to the AFC Championship game, and 2020 they made the playoffs, 2021, and yeah, it's kind of been downhill since there. But hoping to bounce back this year. I'll tell you what, if they can make the playoffs this year, or even just have a winning record, you will only see me in a Titans truck. But I've been kind of embarrassed to put it out there.
I can. Oh, hold on.
Nope, don't do it.
Too late. I can kind of relate to that in the sort of, I guess, on paper, what it would be an obscure team pick because, of course, I grew up in Illinois. I'm still in Illinois. I'm a New York Jets fan, which, not that it's some kind of trauma pissing contest, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not great. Not
yeah.
great.
A lot of trauma
So,
there between both
but
of us.
I latched onto them when they were going to the AFC Championship 2 years in a row. I was a huge LaDainian Tomlinson fan.
Mhm.
That's why I followed him from the Chargers to the Jets. I liked Brett Favre at the time. At the time, I liked Brett Favre. Not so much anymore.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, they're a good team. They're going to the AFC Championship. I'll stick around.
Downhill ever since. Bad
It's
idea.
been terrible. Absolutely awful. Regret it every day. Back to the racing though. I mean, you've got Watkins Glen in New York, but
Mhm.
that's upstate. How does somebody from, I guess, downstate New York get into motorsports? Because it can't be that prevalent.
Yeah, it's really not. And I technically where I'm from is upstate New York, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's more so central. I mean, I'm about 30 minutes from the PA border, so it's upstate to people from the city, and that's kind of how we always kind of designate everything. But yeah, I mean, I grew up really not. I grew up playing NASCAR Thunder 2004 and loving Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah,
You can see a
baby.
picture of right up back there. My brother and I. He's wearing a Jeff Gordon sweater. I'm a twin. My brother Jake. He's
Oh,
not on iRacing. I've been trying to get him on for a couple of years, but he's in a Jeff Gordon shirt. I'm in a Dale Earnhardt shirt. And we loved NASCAR growing up. And really, I was 6 years old when Dale passed, and that's like one of the first memories that I have, like in my life, is my dad telling me that. So when that happened, and I kind of started to understand that, it kind of took me away from wanting to do motorsports or wanting to do any of that. And like I said, I grew up in an area that's very, baseball prevalent, basketball. Like we have football, obviously, but there's, one local dirt track that is nothing. I'm really not into dirt racing as much, so that never really got on my radar a lot. So once Dale died, I kind of got into baseball, basketball, those sports, and really forgot about not forgot about NASCAR, but just didn't really pay attention from like essentially the start of the end of the Gen 4 era until really the close to the end of the Gen 6 era. So like 2006 to 2018, 19 ish is kind of when I started getting back into it. And I got back into it by playing NASCAR Heat and playing on my Xbox with my friends, doing 20 lap Talladega races and kind of doing that stuff. And, really didn't get much out of that. So once I moved to the Charlotte area, and obviously everything down here is NASCAR, Was kind of looking for a game to start playing again and to get back into motorsports. And I didn't really know how much I'd like iRacing. Like I really, I bought a used Logitech wheel, had my gaming laptop at the time. I was using a laptop. And it was like, screw it, I'm going to buy a 3-month membership and give this a shot. And the next thing you know, you're just like addicted. So that's really like, I don't have, it's funny because you get people like Josh Monachek will come on this or other guys who like race. And I'm like, man, I'm so much different than that. Like, I don't have much of a motorsports background. I just like gaming. I like racing. I like being competitive. And that's how really I got back into iRacing, was when I moved back down here to Charlotte. And, now I'm watching the races every weekend again. Went to the Daytona 500 this year for the first time. That was an amazing experience. And honestly, behind football, it's probably my main love right now, honestly, is anything motorsport. So,
I mean, coming into the Venom Truck Series as a true rookie, now that was season 7. We're 5, I guess technically 5 seasons in now. In the chase era of the Venom Truck Series, I mean, you're whether you're winning races or not, your top 5 in the standings are always right around there, anywhere from 3rd to 7th. I mean, you're always right up there. You're massively consistent.
yeah, I always I say to myself, I feel like I could turn on any Venom broadcast of the last 3 seasons, and the 93 truck's going to be in like 7th place. Like I'm just always like sitting right there, which isn't a bad thing, right? Like
No, I would
it's
take
good
that
to
in a
be,
heartbeat.
yeah, it's good to be consistent. But I've been winning a lot more in officials and other cup leagues that I'm in. I'm like, I want to start winning more races. So it's a good start with Echo Park. It's a good start to be, to being in that consistent, where I've been the last few years, but want to start, competing for podiums every week and win. So hopefully doing that a little bit more this year. But yeah, it's great to be consistent, but the competitiveness in you is like, I should be winning these. Like I know I can win these. I know I can win a couple of them. I wish I probably could have won at Michigan a couple seasons ago when there was a big wreck and I pushed Chad to a victory, and Chad got me back this week, which is great. But a couple other races, Auto Club stands out that I wish I could have been at, and in the past I could have won. But hoping to get a few more of those this year for sure.
I'm pulling up John K's 10 questions of doom, which you might have got asked. I didn't make it to that part in my homework, if whether you got asked these questions or not. We'll get to that eventually, but I want to let Matt get a couple shots in here before we turn it over.
Yeah, for sure. I know you talked a little bit about like how getting some better equipment kind of, definitely helped you with your consistency and getting a little better. I've experienced that in the last probably 7 or 8 months myself, kind of upgrading and getting to experience that as well. But I mean, is there anything else other than just continuing to race that you've found that's really helped you with your speed and being consistent, whether it's teammates or like videos that maybe you've watched or things like that?
Yeah. Well, so at the end of 2024, I finished my last season in the Slingshot Sim Racing Series, which is it was a Wednesday Cup League. A couple of guys in there were forming a team called Adrenaline Racing, invited me to come race, and that's where I race with outside of Venom and in our Cup leagues. But there's a guy named John Ross who kind of took me under his wing when we started forming this team, and we put in a ton of work practicing together. Taught me a ton about the car, the Cup car that is, and a ton about how to drive it on certain tracks. And so I credit a lot to him. I kind of feel like I was his prodigy at that point. Last year we put in so much time together, racing and practicing, and everyone in Adrenaline. Chris Mackey's in that with me now. Josh Freed has run in a couple other leagues with me outside in Adrenaline. Nate Brzezowski, John McNeil, a couple other guys that I still race with outside of Venom that come to mind. But those guys have been super helpful. I think we all love to kind of get on and just kind of pick each other's brains when it comes to what we're doing for brake bias or how we're entering turns, that kind of stuff. So it's been great to have that teamwork. So highly recommend, of course, everyone. I know everyone has teammates in Venom, but just kind of putting in seat time with people and getting a chance to pick each other's brains on what works. But also, every week, at least for the Cup schedule, I watch the Makoni setup AFIX tutorials that Robbie Vrabel does. He does a great job of explaining kind of what's going on with the car at every Cup track that they're at, and kind of what he's feeling. So I think DJ EJ, what's his real name? I don't even know what his real name is. Yeah, Justin. He does it. Yeah, he does it for the truck. So I try to watch his for the trucks if it's a track we're going to, soon in Venom. But there's so much useful information on YouTube. I watch the Team Conti ones as well, the AFIX tutorials. It's just, those guys are I mean, things that they're explaining that I didn't realize existed within this car has been really helpful. And then to kind of carry that over to every track has been super useful.
All right. I forgot we have community questions as well.
Yeah.
So let's I think we've got 3 or 4, a couple interesting ones. I think this one in particular to start off with from Brody Gunter is interesting because I know probably what he's angling for, but of course we don't give out the guests ahead of time, so you don't know really who you're asking this question to. What track would you want to remove from the Venom schedule this season? What track would you replace it with? I feel like most people would pick Hickory, but I don't know if you picked Hickory specifically. I know it's close to, if not your home track from where you're at. I mean, what would you do? And is Hickory your pick for the schedule?
Yeah, Matt Schlosser asked us what tracks to pick. I specifically picked Chicago Street.
Oh, okay.
I told him to do that. I wanted to do Chicago Street. That's my favorite road course. One that I thought I might have a little bit of a jump on, but probably not compared to most people, honestly. But yeah, Hickory is about 15 minutes away. I definitely put that on Matt's radar. I think he was looking for a short track, and I was like, let's go to Hickory. Like, just the asphalt that's so old that shreds your tires. Really unique corners, I would say too. Turns 1 and 2 are pretty unique. 3 and 4 are pretty basic, but I was like, hey, we've never been there before. If you're gonna do a short track, go for something like this. I know either way we're gonna have carnage. So really, I thought I wanted to see how the trucks raced on it too. Was kind of looking for a little bit of carnage, but I just think turns 1 and 2 are going to be really unique. And like I said, I don't know if it's a day or night race, but if we can get some green flag racing, seeing the tires wear, and it'll definitely be interesting. But as far as replacing, I would probably replace North Wilkesboro. I'm not a big fan of North Wilkesboro. I struggled there in the playoffs last year. Just got to put in a little bit more seat time there. But what I would replace that with, trying to think of another short track or another. I like Stafford.
Oh,
I like
okay.
the shorter. I like the flat tracks, either that or Langley maybe, if we're going another short track. But I think those would be my pick.
I like that answer. I'm glad that you didn't say Martinsville either.
Yeah.
John K wants to know: would you wreck Brody Gunter for a Snickers bar?
Oh yeah. That's good. I'd probably wreck Brody for less than that. No, I'm just kidding, Brody.
Nice.
I think absolutely I would do that for a Snickers bar. Gotta get Brody out of there.
I'm gonna sidebar this question from John K. And ask, what is your go-to candy bar of choice?
Kit Kat.
Okay, I can respect that.
Always my Kit Kat. What about you guys?
Yeah. What about Matt?
I at one point I would have said a Snickers. I used to like Snickers a lot because I'm a peanut guy. But I think right now I'm pretty basic, and I'd go with a almond Hershey bar.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, dude, they're good, man.
Very specific. I like it.
Yeah, either that or we're going with I like nuts and like almonds. I would also go with an M&M, a peanut M&M. That's another close second for sure.
All right, that's fine. Fuck, about to say a Mounds bar. I'm going with a Reese's Fast Break. Shout out to the Reese's Fast Break. Cool. Matt Schlosser. Scenario: you can't use the steering wheel and pedals. You must use one of these devices instead. Choose one. Don't worry about compatibility. A, printer. B, piano. C, iPod Nano.
I think I'm going iPod Nano because I'm thinking about the
dial.
Yeah, turning left with the dial. I don't know what the gas would be. Maybe like the little button in the middle, but that's the only way I think one of those could logically work. But piano, using the keys, I don't know, going left with this, right with that. I don't know. I like the iPod Nano. I'm picking that.
Bertie Gunter, for the record, would wreck himself for a Snickers bar. Jordan Jorno, if you could change one NASCAR series track surface from either asphalt to concrete or vice versa, what would you choose?
What about Daytona?
Oh my God, concrete Daytona.
I don't think I'd want to race it myself, but I would love to see the pros do it.
That would be something,
Yeah.
especially in the heat down there. Oh man.
Well, the question that Josh Matichek asked is in the John K. Questions of Doom, so I can't ask that. But Josh Matichek did ask a question. I'll notate him when it comes time. Matt, do you have anything else before we roll into the 10 questions of Doom?
This can be pretty short, but I know that you've visited Nashville. Have you been to the fairgrounds racetrack or to the big racetrack in Lebanon?
I have not yet. Hoping to get there eventually, but mostly just for Titans games and to go when I finished my MBA. A bunch of my buddies went, just got an Airbnb and went to Broadway essentially for a week and kind of did that whole thing a handful of years ago. But did some sightseeing and some other things. But I think that was actually before I was on iRacing. So no, mostly I just go down for quick trips to Titans games. So I definitely want to go to Nashville Super Speedway. That would be cool. I know the fairgrounds is back now in the Cars Tour, I believe.
Yeah, they just had their race last week or 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even just like their kind of weekly late model stuff is pretty good. Yeah, for anybody listening, if you ever visit Nashville, kind of try and check out the Fairground Speedway for sure. They need the support, and
yes,
would like to keep that around. So
yeah, are you still down there? You're still in the Nashville area?
No, I'm not. I moved back to Central Illinois, kind of where I'm from, about a year and a half ago. So yeah, I was down there for about 10 years. So it was a good 10 years, but was ready to get out of there. So
yeah,
we got him back, baby. Can never leave. Can never leave. All right, John K. Stock questions. Question number 1, easy enough. What's your favorite track?
In the Trucks Auto Club, in the Cup Car, Nashville.
What about in real life? Just
real life?
Track that you like watching races at?
Kansas. I think today's going to be great. Yeah, I really like Kansas. Chase Elliott having that big win. I'm a Chase Elliott fan, so I think that was last year in the fall. That was fantastic. So either Kansas or I mean, can't never go wrong with Daytona. So I'm looking forward to today. Hopefully it's a really good race.
What real-life position on a race team would you hold other than the driver?
Probably gas guy.
Yeah.
I think I could. I don't know.
I think you're built well enough for that.
Yeah, I'd hope. I mean, a lot of those guys are ex-football players and college athletes, but that'd be the cool spot. I think is to be the gas guy.
What's your favorite genre of racing? You already said you're not a dirt track guy, but does NASCAR have your heart over, say, IndyCar, Formula One, drag racing, anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really pay attention to too much other stuff than NASCAR. I like racing the GT3s on iRacing. I don't watch like the Daytona 24 or anything like that. But yeah, definitely by far NASCAR.
This is the question that Josh Matichek asked in so many words. If everybody in Venom was free agents and you got to be a team leader, you got the first 3 picks in the draft, who would you pick to be on your team? And
I can't pick my teammates now, probably?
You can. I don't think there's anything against that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to pick Josh Freed. I love Josh Freed. We've been doing this a while together. I would probably pick... I'd probably pick Matichek, actually. We tried to recruit Matichek to 939 a couple of seasons ago after his rookie season, I think. I'd pick him. Trying to think of people outside of our team. I'll go with John K. And then last one, go with Luke Carver, because I think Luke would keep us grounded. I feel like Luke maybe is kind of chill, kind of keeping us level-headed, I would hope. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much an unbeatable lineup. Matt, what do you got?
First of all, for Luke, I'm pretty sure Luke does that for John K on a weekly basis already.
Yes.
So I think that's probably a good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna select from some of these questions. I guess I'll go with an off the wall question here. We're really getting into the questions of doom. Who is Venom's sexiest driver?
Yeah, baby.
We're gonna go there.
Great question. Gary Clark.
Yeah.
I'll go with Gary. I love Gary, dude. Gary's the best.
Absolutely.
So what happened, Gary? Gets me every time, man. I love him.
I mean, the best thing since then is him try to take his wave around, and I don't know if you were there for that, Zach, but him.
Oh no, you weren't.
I don't think he was.
Oh my god, because that was at Auto Club.
Oh,
He said, "Lucky Dog, come around the top," and somebody swerved up the track at him, and he just went, "Ah!" It's I clipped it. It's gonna be on the Venom soundboard, I think.
That's amazing. Me and Josh will talk about the All-Star race a couple of seasons ago, the Monza right-hander, and he's like, guys, I think I'm on the wrong track. Like, I think he like somehow got off track and was on the road course, and it was hilarious. I don't know if you guys were in the booth probably, so you probably didn't hear it, but absolutely.
No, I
hilarious.
wasn't even there. It would have been just mad.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Michael Waltrip commercial where he's like, guys, I'm at the wrong track. Absolutely hilarious. Gary's the best.
Nice.
Yeah, some good sound bites there for sure from Gary.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to what would be your like pro wrestling entrance theme song be? I guess this is kind of similar to like your Bristol walkout as well, but it gets to be like a full length song. It doesn't have to just be 5 seconds of the song.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know. My first one I did was Sugar We're Going Down. I love that whole song and just the intro to that song. I think it would be that because that would get me really fired up. The beginning drums to that song, the whole, I love that song. So I think it would be that song. It would get me fired up for it. Not an interesting take, but I can't think of anything else funnier right now. So.
Do you think that you're more than the Venom Truck Series is bargained for yet?
Yeah.
That's the real question.
Absolutely.
Nice.
I do.
That's good. I do want to double back. I skipped over one. I forgot. I turned it over too early. What Venom Truck Series driver would you either want to get punched by or get in a fight with?
Probably Andy, right?
Andy Ducato or Andy Politsky?
Andy Politsky. I mean, I feel like everyone says I haven't seen him in real life, but says he's small. So I feel like.
Yeah, that's
like
that's the rumor that's going around.
That's the rumors going around that I might be able to take him. So I think it'd have to be that.
All right. Well, I'm sure
Sorry,
Andy will love to hear that. Matt, you got the rest. Go ahead.
All right. We'll move on to the next one. What is your favorite Venom race? And not necessarily racetrack, but just your favorite race. Or it can just be any like race that you've been in iRacing. So it could be like, one from one of your Cup Series races or anything like that.
I think my favorite one was in the Full Send Cup Series, Chris's League. A couple months ago, I won at New Hampshire, which is to me has always been a historically like tough track, but I put in a ton of time to that, and I came to love like the short, just the flat tracks. But that win won me the in-season tournament in that league, and I won $100. So that was pretty cool.
Damn.
That was pretty memorable. Yeah. And I think my teammates rounded out the podium as well. So it was just very memorable race for me, for all of us. And to win that in-season tournament was pretty cool. But Venom-wise, I mean, I got to say last week, obviously. But if not that, I liked Auto Club a couple seasons ago, season 9, when McKinnon won and Luke finished second. I finished third. I'll go back and watch that broadcast sometimes because Nathan Reynolds was on the call with you guys, and he's like, I think they're working together. And we were working together perfectly. Like Luke was taking a little bit of a shallower into the turn and I was on top, and then I'd come out right behind him and I would push him down the backstretch, and probably could have caught McKinnon if we, I started working together a few laps earlier, but just using the teamwork in that race. And that was one of my better races. So I always think back to that race too.
That race sucked. I hated that race.
Were you in? Oh, you were in that race.
Yeah. I did such a bad job.
Yeah.
But no, that was a good race to go back and watch for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to this is kind of another interesting one here. Who in the Venom Truck Series would you let date your daughter?
This might be a surprise. Chad Stearns is one of the nicest guys ever. I don't know how much you guys know him. I don't know his history before I was here, but Chad, when we're in he is literally the nicest dude ever. It just seems like he is like genuinely a really good guy. So I know sometimes joins the races last second because he's taking his kid to his baseball games and stuff. So Chad's a great father. Chad's a great dude. So I would let Chad do it.
We're finding out little bits and pieces about Chad Stearns as we go here. We did.
Yeah.
He did show up to quite a few interviews last year, though, so that was nice to get him in a bunch of interviews last year. So little bits and pieces.
Interesting cat.
Little bits and pieces of Chad Stearns come to light as we go on. That's good. That's good.
That's
stuff.
how I feel about Pascal. I want to know more about him.
Oh my God.
So
what
do
a
we.
guy. Yeah. His English is getting better one of these days. Yep.
Yeah. Maybe one day. We'll have to get a statement from him for the Venom cast one of these days. That'd be good. All right. We're going to move on to question number 10. This is the final question in the Questions of Doom. What is the meaning of the Venom cast? And you can take that any way you want to.
What is the meaning of the Venom cast? The meaning of the Venom cast is just to bullshit around with slightly above average sim racers for an hour. That's really the meaning of it.
Well, that's nice. Got him above average.
You are. I see you said you're mid there. You're slightly above average. We're all just slightly above average. That's how I like to keep it.
Let me change that real quick.
That's the meaning of it. But it's been cool, honestly, to get to know people more. Like Cole's episode, had Eric Breeding on before in the past. Like everyone's got a really interesting story. So it is cool that we can all, in a serious note, get together, on a Tuesday night and, like Cole was saying, kind of forget about, or I think it was Cole or maybe it was Kevin Sargent, just forgetting about real life, and putting all our momentum and everything we have into winning a race. So
yeah,
if you really want to get to know these guys, you should go to the Bristol Venom takeover one of these years.
True. Yeah.
It was quite the experience. It was fun for sure.
Yep.
So that adds even another level to the experience on Tuesdays.
To the lore, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So a live development here. Josh Matacek has just been told that his question is already a stock question because he doesn't watch the show apparently. So his new question is: if you got paid direct John K, how much would it take?
Not a lot. Yeah,
a Snickers bar.
Not a lot, especially if it's about a Snickers bar. Maybe a little bit more than it would take for Brody.
Nice. 2 Snickers bars.
2 Snickers bars, yeah.
There you go.
Let's go with that.
Looking ahead to this Tuesday, we're at Lime Rock Park for the first time in series history. Your history at road courses is kind of back and forth. I think last season was probably the perfect encapsulation of it. Portland did not go very well, but you finished top 5 at Monza, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, talk about your confidence at the road courses.
Yeah, I feel like my pace is good at road courses now. It just comes down to one little mistake. Like Monza, I didn't make any mistakes. I was perfect throughout the whole race. At Portland, I was behind you, Tommy. I remember we were going into turn 1, and I don't know if I didn't realize where I was on the track, or I can't remember. But at that time, I just broke way too late and just completely whiffed on the turn and slammed in the wall, gave myself wheel damage. Race was over. So same thing happened last week at Watkins Glen, like I was saying in Chris Mackey's league, where I was leading, and into turn 1, I just wasn't all focused for a second or something and just whiffed completely on turn 1 and almost wrecked myself and fell back to 7th. So as long as those little mini lapses and concentration, I don't know what it is, are not there, I feel like I can run probably where I normally do, probably 7th place. But no, I've been putting in a few laps yesterday at Lime Rock, put in about 30 laps, and feeling pretty good. It's an interesting setup. It's going to be right in the morning too, like 6 a.m. right at sunrise. So I think my lowest lap was like a 52.6, so I felt pretty good about that pace wise. Wasn't a qualifying lap, but was in the middle of the run. So going up the hill is going to be interesting there. Really intrigued to see how that goes. The first couple of times I did it, got legitimate air time. I was like, hey, this is going to be, if you don't practice, this is going to be a interesting on the first lap. So what do you guys think about Lime Rock?
I love it. I can't wait. I also kind of have that fear in the back of my head. Although this used to be a chief complaint of the series, I feel like people have gotten a lot better about it, at least practicing in their own time. If not showing up for Monday night practice, our attendance record is a lot better than it used to be. So Monday night practice is going to be very telling for where I'm going to sit. I am on a huge, I don't race officials very often, but I try and pick and choose places where I can win. I'm on I think the last official race that I won was in January of 2022.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was about to win an official race last year when the trucks were at Lime Rock, and Joshua Monacek is my witness on this because he was hanging out with me. We were gonna do something later. I don't even remember what, but I was live streaming the race, and I was like whooping up on the field at Lime Rock. The strength of field doesn't matter, but I was whooping up on him, and I came down the hill through turn 9 or whatever to come to the checkered flag, and a lap truck came from the grass and wiped me out. And I finished in reverse in second. So I almost snapped my official streak last year at Lime Rock Park, but it didn't happen. So
How do you react when something like that happens? Because I would have been chat banned forever. If something like that happened.
I don't think I said anything over the radio. Wow. I probably said, "Oh fuck," and then just sat in the dreaded silence.
Yeah.
Matt's seen me semi-mad when I'm cursing like a sailor and screaming, but he knows when I'm actually mad, I'm completely silent. And that's probably closer to what that was. And then I said, "Oh, okay, we'll go do whatever we need to do now." So it was not great.
It's it's an interesting track, like going downhill, like you said. A lot of throttle control. So
love the track though. Go ahead.
I'm worried about the field size with a very small track. Like, I mean, it's skinny. There's turn 1 is pretty wide, but other than that, it is not a very wide racetrack. So getting through lap traffic, like if there's a lap truck battle happening in front of you for position, like how they kind of handle battling for position, but also being lapped down is going to be very interesting. And by they, I mean probably me. So yeah, it's I think there's definitely the potential for more carnage on a road course than maybe we've ever had before. That's kind of how I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at just trying to survive is honestly where I'm at right now.
I think that's completely
pressure's
fair.
on when you're second in points. Be watching Monacek all night.
Trust me, there's no pressure for me at a road course. So.
The pressure's for damage control. I feel like you're usually pretty good at that. So
yeah. If we, like you said, if we get 40 trucks there, I mean, very, very interesting because you're going to catch lap traffic. I would say at some point for sure.
Very quickly.
Yep.
But yeah, you've got a good team to bounce ideas off of, or you've at least got Matt Schlosser to bounce ideas off of through the week. So that has to help as well.
Yep. Yeah, Matt kicks my ass at road courses. He's great. He races everything. I go look at his Sim Racer Hub stuff sometimes. I'm like, man, he's racing like he just races everything, and he does good at all of it. I'm like, he's a real racer. So
yeah, Matt Williamson and I have not got to talk about the Daredevil series yet because it's the first time we've talked since he got back from vacation. Matt Schlosser,
vacation, okay, buddy,
work vacation. Sorry. Matt Schlosser made and he regretted it immediately, which I've been there before. Made a very interesting move to win the Daredevil race on Wednesday night that involved wiping out James Watson. And then I had to go special stage. I had to do one of their 2 races this I just did it actually a couple hours ago. But I had to listen to James Watson compliment Matt Schlosser on his clean driving as prompted by his fellow broadcaster. And James just went right on through. He did not pay that comment any mind. I was like, all right. So that was interesting. But where do you feel like your confidence is at right now, just as a driver? Obviously, you get the first win, but I mean, you've known this has been coming for a while. Where do you feel like you're at right now?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I wish, like I said, I had been there for Auto Club or a race that isn't a plate track so far. So honestly, my confidence feels good, but I like, adding the new guys, adding Charlie Widener, Milfell, both of you guys who have been up in the front every race. Like, I don't really know yet because I have only been here for 2 plate tracks this season. So I know we'll be at Lime Rock and then we'll be at Texas, I believe. So I think Texas to me is going to be the first one to kind of figure out where I stack up. I don't think I've ever run a truck race at Texas. So we'll definitely have to put in a little bit of work for that one. So I can't give you a really good answer yet, to be honest.
I mean, that's totally fair. That is totally fair. Matt, do you have anything else before we sort of close up shop here?
I think I've touched on everything I was hoping to. It was great to get to talk to you, and yeah, hoping that the season goes well for you, but maybe not too well, since we are ahead of 939 in the team points. I don't want it to go too well for you guys, but no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, it's going to be fun. Of course, you guys will be up there all year. Alabama gang, ICR. There's so many good teams. I mean, unless Schlosser and Chad Stearns go on an absolute tear, I think we'll all be pretty close all season. So I know at some point we're going to do a race. I guess I'll give this away because Chad will never see this again. But we're all going to go in a sponsorless blank truck. I'm going to go in a sponsorless black. The broadcast last week made me think about doing that because I'm like, for the most of the broadcast, I didn't have my Pink Whitney scheme on because it was an error on Trading Paints, and me and Chad were drafting, and he had his white truck, and mine was an all black sponsorless one. So at some point, I think maybe at Talladega we're gonna do that. So
nice.
That'll be fun.
Let's like we normally would on a Tuesday night. Let's you've got the floor to do shout outs. Anybody at all that you want to thank or say hello to or anything like that, go for it.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for getting me on here again for this. This has been great to talk to you guys again, and I go back and watch all the podcasts. So got to finish up Cole's. It seemed like a really good episode. Yeah, shout out to the team 939, Adrenaline, everyone I race with. It's a great time to be racing with them, and my wife Erica, who lets me do this multiple nights a week. We're expecting our first baby in October, so
nice. Congrats.
Thank you. Things are going to be changing a little bit in terms of how much time I get to race. So we're getting it all in now as much as I can. So that's about it. And shout out to the league, everyone. It's another great season so far.
Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to touch on?
No. Touched a little bit on everything. So no, feel good. Appreciate you guys.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I guess we'll get to the usual outro then. Be sure to subscribe to Venom World. I'm sure we'll do something else with this channel eventually. I don't know what, but we'll figure something out. Yeah, so subscribe to Venom World. Be sure to like the video, share it around. Yeah, and that's pretty much everything. Be sure to follow PGR Esports. They've got the live coverage of whatever the Lime Rock race is called. I'm gonna go look at that right now because I'm sure
they've been doing great too. Shout out to PGR for hopping on this season. Appreciate them.
They've got the name stuff figured out pretty well. So that was I think that was really the big sticking point for a lot of folks.
Widner,
so.
Charlie Widner, Matt.
Yeah,
I think they got Schlosser's name.
Yep, they got Widener, they got Schlosser, they got pretty much everybody right last week. So that's a good deal. Oh no, I shouldn't have looked at the race name. I got a guy for that 99 at Lime Rock. Shout out to Peyronie's disease, I guess. Oh God. Well, 65 laps at Lime Rock. It'll be live on PGR Esports at 8:15 p.m. Eastern time, like it always is. Our thanks, as always, to our guest, Zack Lockett, driver of the Pink Whitney 93 Toyota Tundra. And shout out to Mr. Matt Williamson as well. And thanks to everybody else that helps make the world go around here. Till we meet again, I'm Tommy Cook. Thanks for watching the Venomcast. And we'll see you next week. Bye. Oh, he slides out, too.
Slide out.
That's a new feature. Unlock the new feature.
Chris Collinsworth.